Beautiful.
Great. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Was it easy to move from one point to another, or did we find some points that kind of needed us to spend more time in it? How was it? Sometimes if we have blockages in any of the chakras, whether in the front part or the back part, we may feel a block, and then it's hard for us to move from that to the next one, which is natural and it's okay. So what we need to do is to work on that part and reach that block and clear up the emotions. The emotions are going to come out that are blocking this. So we have to be prepared for this as well. It's part of the healing. Whatever is blocking that chakra, now that we're providing it with energy, it's going to clear up. But when it clears up, it comes up, and we have to not push it back in, not suppress it, but rather find the gentle ways to transmute it. The best way is to forgive. You know, okay, we learned our lesson, we forgive the person, ourselves, and the situation. Time to release, and we just release it. And we thank the people involved for being important teachers in our life, as painful as it is, but it is definitely part of our lesson. And that just clears it up. It's the simplest, the shortcut way to just unblock stuff. So yeah. And then we'll find that the energy will just suddenly flow now and carry on. So that's kind of work in progress. And if we do it completely, then we'll find that we really released everything. And once that is done, then really the higher self then can come and integrate with us or merge with us as it's destined to do, and we become this enlightened beings or ascended or whatever the terminology is. We really become ourselves, expressing things here in this world in a different, complete way. And things will change, certainly. The whole world will change if we all embody our higher selves here and function on this level. Our manifesting ability to that unique and desired harmonious, loving world will be the state of affairs. But we need to clear up our small blocks that exist and contain our energy so we don't leak it. And that's what this practice is good for. It's a very healing practice. It's actually, they consider it like an anti-aging kind of process, the ancient Taoists. It's part of that. Remember the first diagram we went through with the three minds, that classical drawing that was found in the temple, in the Dragon King temple. That is also the orbit representation as well, the cosmic orbit. You would hear two terms, the microcosmic orbit and the cosmic orbit or macrocosmic. So the microcosmic is just the one that goes from crown, perineum, and circles around. The macrocosmic is the one that goes from the crown up all the way, then it goes in the orbit, then back down to the earth, cover the earth, then back up again to the universe. So we include the universe and the earth within our orbit. So that's the macro orbit, if we wish to connect that way. So that's kind of the two ways to express that. But the key is to create that container that goes from crown, perineum, and all the energy within our auric field, within our body.
And it could almost be compared to the spin of an atom, right? When you're talking about the anti-aging, that may go into it in some regard, the macro and the micro.
Yeah, because what we do, I think next time maybe we can go through that macro orbit as well as the 6 directions, where you can actually connect to the universe from the front, from the navel to the back, from crown to earth, from the left and right, and add these cosmic energies into our orbit as well. And we can start now adding additional energies to this orbit now that we made it a container that is sealed, which is really the key now. We don't want to lose energy for any of this. Generally, we lose energy from speech, from our mouth, from the openings, basically. So from the mouth, communication, arguments, convincing somebody with something, expressing things that are emotional, all that is a loss of energy. Unless it's done in a proper way that is actually nourishing and a healthy way. When we manage to have the empathic connection with the people in such a way that we have the empathic communication, then it becomes actually a healing. The conversation becomes healing. When we talk to somebody, we both leave feeling very energized and great about it. And that's the objective. But when we have a conversation or a communication and then we feel drained after it, it means that somebody really, there was not a synchronization there, and we depleted our energy. So communication is one way we lose energy. Emotions generally is another way. Emotional trigger, a negative type of thing, anger, frustration, worry, and it will last, that drain, until we manage to transmute it and stop it. And then we have techniques to actually do that in a short time so that we minimize the loss. Mental processing, thinking too much about what could be wrong, what could happen, the worst case scenario, this kind of investment of energy into something that will never happen or didn't happen. It potentially can happen, but it potentially may not. And we should just focus on the potentially will not happen and make that the reality, as opposed to just sitting worrying about what if disaster happens. It's just a major loss of energy this way. So mental, uncontrolled mental processing, emotional processing, speech, like talking, and through the lower centers being opened, like the sexual centers. Naturally, for women, every month, there is a loss of energy that can potentially happen during the menstrual period, because that is a huge amount of energy that can leak there. So there's practices where we can gather the life force from this energies and move them back up again and circulate them back up, so that when the menstrual cycle comes, we just release some biological matter, but the actual life force is contained and moved back into our system. So that's like the sexual energy transmutation practices of the Tao tradition, the Taoist tradition. For the men, is the same. How to manage the loss of energy during sexual activities and redirect the energy back up and circulate it into the system, so that the life force is contained, but the energy is just expressing itself. The sexual energy expresses itself in a healthy way, non-draining way. Yeah. So there's also a tantric aspect to the Taoist practice as well. All these are components that go in to create the economics, proper economics of energy, and we understand how it flows, and we work with it and use it then to gain more energy this way and lose less. So we want to minimize the loss and increase the gain of energy. So that's kind of the philosophy of the energetic practices of the Tao. All right, so any questions so far?
Yes. Okay. So about the practice itself, okay. When we inhale from the bottom and we extract the muscles, and then the moment we get up, we can already release them, or just when we exhale out, then we release it, the muscles.
Yes, so if we inhale and contract, let's say the maximum contraction that we will do here is really not like, actually we can go very strong. If you go very strong with this muscle, you will really feel something that's just hitting the pineal gland. You will just feel the glands in the brain just getting, you know, a push there. You will feel the connection. But you may do this every once in a while. But generally in the practice itself, if we contract, let's say, I would say 30%, just enough to propel the energy from the front channel up to reach the higher centers. And then when you release and exhale, you just release until maybe just 10%, but you still want the bridge to be connected. Because if you release completely, the energy will just flow down from that perineum point or the anus or the sexual centers out, you know, to the, and we lose the energy this way. So I would say you can range minimum 10% contraction, maximum whatever you like, you know, but for a comfortable way that is not straining, maybe 30, 40% contraction, whatever you feel is needed to push the energy up to the ground, you know. But when we release and keep just 10%. So the bridge is continuous. Then we don't open the lower gates. Yeah.
Okay. And when we inhale, we also imagine like from Earth getting energy? Or it's just something really closed? What?
At this point, the microcosmic is just something closed. You don't want to go to the Earth or the universe. But when you get to the macro, then yeah, we go down the Earth, we go up to the universe and add these energies.
Okay. It's just to move the energy which is there.
Yeah.
Okay.
To learn how to close it and not leak it out and create a container. That's the first. After that, we will look for ways. So this way we don't lose energy. We learn how to contain it. The next steps then is to add extra energy from Earth, from the universe front and back and up and down, from everywhere, you know, and then we can add other types of energies as well. Nature, ocean, mountains, the 8 forces of the Bakwa, if you wish. I mean, there's a lot. Anywhere, any experience we can have in life now can support our energetics and can be enriching for us if we know how to transmute it and add it to our system. And then at the end of all that, we just collect it into the navel. And it's there forever. You know, we can use it, activate it, do things with it, then collect it and put it back. And it will be our reserves, like the storage. And the more energies we gather there, the more that reserve will become very strong. And then our power will become stronger into manifesting or into healing or into any of these activities that require this type of life force. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Actually, there was a couple of very interesting questions, important questions. So I think Marco was asking, can negative entities interfere in the macrocosmic part if we try to collect other energies in terms of guardian and protecting from that? Yeah. So that question having to do with, if we go to the macrocosmic now and we connect to the universe and we connect from the crown up, or if we are using that energy pearl that is in our navel and then push it out and create like an astral traveling kind of experience. And this is actually taught in the fusion practices in the universal Tao, where you can send your an etheric body out through this crown and then go traveling, doing things. Can be used in different reasons, fun or magic or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, yes, absolutely. The protection that is needed. I mean, there will be negative interference possibly there. So the hygiene has to be maintained totally. And the best way to maintain hygiene is, our starting point is the navel is connected to the source. Just the navel is directly connected to the source of the universe. So anything we are doing now is coming from that, and nothing will negativity will want to run away from that. It will not actually be attracted to this. It will repel that. You know, it will be repelled by the source, by God energy that is coming from the navel. So you will be a being that will just repel any negativities. It will not be in your path. So that's really one of the safe and secure way of the most hygienic way. Also, we want to always feel the connection with the earth. Our feet always, or our perineum always has to be touching the earth so that we're grounded and we don't just get very high, you know, and we become ungrounded, and maybe even we can start getting hallucinations. We would just activating the crown and the third eye so much without grounding. We may be experiencing or expressing things that don't make sense to other people. And then that will kind of be a bit tricky to translate. But when we're grounded, you can actually translate it easier and communicate esoteric things, or etheric things. You can communicate it in a way that makes sense to others. You can step down the communication to a level that is manageable in the third dimension. But you may encounter some people who are just really into meditation and really into spending so much time into spiritual practice, and they're not grounded. They will just speak to you and you will say, whoa, that's so ungrounded. It can be shocking to some people. So I think it's like they say, walk the spiritual path with firm feet. You just want to be touching the ground, but you're as high as you like. So that's we can function here in a comfortable way. Yeah, so that was a very important question. Was it an energy that was released? Oh, so that was a very interesting one as well. I think Cynthia, she mentioned that as the energy was coming down the third eye, the sinus.
Yes.
Yeah, please,
yes.
please express it. Yeah, it sounds amazing. How was that?
Yes, yes, it was. Well, as the energy was coming down, and then as soon as it reached my third chakra, and I felt like over here is like it was like I said, like a bottle of champagne. It was like poof. In right now, I still feel like there's a lot of particles going around here. Like my respiration is I don't know, something happened around my sinus.
It seems like it was a block, definitely. Yeah, and when we move the energy, actually a lot of blocks just get released. And we will notice when we practice this more and more that sometimes, like in your case, it's great that it kind of is not uncomfortable, that it's okay and it's nice, but okay. But you've observed it. But in some cases, if it's really a strong block, it may be uncomfortable. Like if we're passing through, the stomach and the solar plex, and then we release it, then maybe we'll feel some digestive issues for a period of time while things clear up. Maybe we'll experience like a bowel movement, and maybe if we had the blockages there, we may end up with what's the opposite of constipation? Whatever the opposite of constipation is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that one. I don't
diarrhea.
Okay. Diarrhea, thank you.
Diarrhea.
So we may, because suddenly there's a block that happens, and then we'll feel that way. So expect some physical symptoms, and it's a good thing. It's a sign that, okay, we're finally releasing a lot of blocks. But it's great. Yeah, the champagne description is it's cool.
That's the only way I could describe it, because
perfect.
it feels like bubbling.
So we're celebrating now. Yeah, we're popping some champagne. It's great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.